Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is gonna be part 7, guys. Let's see, where did I end off? The grin from Claude was enough to make the surrounding women gasp in jealousy. Claude's motivations were twofold: keep away annoying women, and acquire mushrooms. Dancing with Agnes like this, he was getting everything he wanted. Surely Claude's intentions with this dance were to show the other women that he was taken with Agnes. They weren't to embarrass her into sprouting an endless supply of mushrooms, were they? Agnes, focus on the dance. Oh god, here we go again with all this. Look into my eyes. Look into his eyes. To keep the other women away, right? Not so I'll sprout extra mushrooms, right? They were already practically... oh god. I swear to god, romance stuff like this always just makes me giggle. Already practically dancing cheek to cheek, Agnes was desperate to hold the mushrooms back any way she could. Perhaps I should distract him with another topic. Your Highness, what is that fruity cologne you're wearing? It smells so nice and sweet. What? Oh, this? Oh, well, here we go. It's made from the Cantharellus cibarius mushroom. Oh, I see. Mushroom cologne? Seriously? Just how deep does this crazy Princess Funko fetish go? I don't think it's crazy. I mean, if it smells nice, then it shouldn't matter what it's made of, right? As long as it doesn't cause any bad effects or anything. Agnes was willing to bet that none of the onlookers would ever, in their wildest dreams, imagine that the prince they so admired was the type to wear mushroom cologne. As long as you don't tell them it's made of mushrooms, I don't think they care. If it smells good. This unwelcome piece of information only served to heighten her discomfiture. Here she was, dancing with the mushroom freak prince who twirled her around the dance floor, merrily harvesting mushrooms and wafting the scent of mushroom cologne wherever he went. Like I said, if you didn't even know it was mushroom, then would you have really cared? Oh god. He wasn't a man, he was a walking, talking mushroom. Agnes got a vivid mental image just then of Claude wearing a giant mushroom cap on his head and worrying about a mushroom-shaped bottle of fragrant cologne. Oh god. I would laugh at that. She couldn't put anything past him anymore. Trying to hold it together, Agnes was relieved when the dance came to a close. The nerves, plus all the water she'd drunk, were both beginning to wreak havoc on her physiology. She separated from Claude and visited the washroom just in time. Thank goodness. You really don't want no accidents. On her way back to the ballroom, she bumped into the quintet of mean girls again. Uh-oh. Claude? After being warned off by Claude, they couldn't surround and antagonize her again. But they couldn't resist shooting off a few snarky remarks as they passed by. His Highness seems... Alright. With Duke... I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing these names right. If I'm wrong, please just bear with me. Watu's daughter these days. Indeed, but why shouldn't he? After all, a certain someone is only a mere plaything of his. Lady Watu is very pretty with such beautiful... Oh, wait, what? Oh, black hair. What a stunning couple they make. Then, sniggering nastily, the women trotted off. Not a plaything, a mushroom factory. And wait, black hair? Oh, never mind, that's not her. I was getting my names mixed up. That's something else. Agnes couldn't resist correcting them under her breath. Duke Watu was the host of this ball. If Claude and the Watu girl really were close, then it was very rude of him to dance with Agnes in front of her under her own roof. Or maybe this was all a ploy by those mean girls. They're after Claude themselves, so I wouldn't put it past them to make it all up and name-drop the host's daughter just to stick it to me. I can understand why he wants me to act as a repellent to keep them away, he murmured. Or she murmured. The mean girls, Claude's fangirls, and their jealousy were nothing but a colossal annoyance to Agnes. She sighed. On her way back into the ballroom, she was accosted near the door by a man she'd never seen before. You're Count Lafort's daughter, aren't you? Yes I am. Can I help you with something? Agnes didn't know many noblemen, and she was sure she'd never seen this one before. She looked at him suspiciously. He seemed very restless. You got your hair down tonight. Oh, right. He wanted to say something nasty about her hair, didn't he? Yes, if the sight of it offends you, well, I'm sorry about that. Agnes tried to walk past the man, but he reached out and grabbed her by the wrist. A white mushroom immediately popped up on his shoulder. Luckily, though, he didn't seem to notice. Agnes gazed at the mushroom. It looked like Lipholum conatum, also known as a white dome head. The man was staring at Agnes. No, you've got it wrong. It's not like that. It's just that your hair is so... I find you very... What are you doing? A cold, low voice interrupted the stammering young man from directly behind Agnes' shoulder. Oh, Claude. The man stiffened when Agnes addressed Claude. Agnes, I came to look for you since you were taking ages. Who is this man? Claude narrowed his eyes at the man who'd gone pale as milk. Your Highness, please forgive me. Then the young man ran off in a huge fluster. I'm guessing he was one of the few people that you're actually going to end up meeting that actually like your hair. Even though, like I said, it's very pretty. Who cares the color? The color's pretty anyway. Claude watched him go, brows drawn. I can't let my guard down for 1 second, can I? Still, seeing the way you look tonight, Agnes, I can hardly blame the man. It's not my fault. I told you I shouldn't wear my hair down. Still, I'm used to nasty remarks about my hair. He must have been really offended, though, to stop me as I was walking by to lecture me on it. No, he was going to say he likes your hair. That's what I'm assuming he was going to say something like that. Because if you did mention that, oh, you're going to say something nasty about my hair, and he said, no, not like that. If wearing her hair up had been what prevented Agnes from having to deal with harassment like this until now, then it'd been a wise choice indeed. Perhaps she owed Philip a debt of thanks after all. Goodness, how the people of this country lost their minds with hatred over something as silly as pink hair. Wait, what? What do you mean, Agnes? I mean exactly what I said. What's confusing about that? Agnes blinked at Claude, who frowned and then sighed. I see. I understand how you've been treated up till now. That's reassuring, although still somewhat dangerous. At any rate, I can see that some discouragement is called for. Muttering to himself, Claude took hold of Agnes' hand. A mushroom sprouted almost as if on cue. It was a trumpet-shaped mushroom, Gomphus flecosus. Oh, God. Claude stroked its little gills, then carefully plucked it off his glove. All he was doing was harvesting a mushroom, but he did it sort of... Oh, God. Even now, I'm starting to think it. Yes, I think the guy has a bit of a fetish when it comes to mushrooms, but I don't think he thinks that way about mushrooms. I think he still likes her more. Essentially, let's call it a night. I only wish I could see you home myself. Will you agree to accompany me on a day out in the city next time? Huh? Oh, sure. The terms of their agreement stipulated that Agnes would be seen with Claude as much as possible. That must be what he meant by a day out. Agnes answered automatically, but Claude still lit up with a big, beaming grin of happiness. Stop that! 2 mushrooms popped up merrily on the back of his gloves. One Cufolus virginius and one Pisnoporus. How do people pronounce these stupid things? Mushroom of the day. Here we go. Plurosibella porigens. I'm guessing that was from the last video. A mushroom with a brownish cap covered in flaky scales. Depending on the specimen, it can be poisonous. If you eat it with an alcoholic drink, you'll get sick drunk. It tried to bring a message to Agnes, don't get drunk tonight. What a busybody mushroom. Alloclaveria purpurea, purple coral. A purple mushroom with thin stalks. It has no flavor or scent and doesn't taste good, so it's not used as food. It came a sprouting because someone asked for a mushroom the same color as her dress. Xiphophilus virginius. Milk white caps, a small and cute mushroom. It's easy to eat and goes well in vinegar dishes or sauce. It blooms when it senses an innocent young woman and loves to peek at romantic scenes. Okay, that's funny. This time it brought whatever along with it. Amanita cadarids, whatever, an egg-shaped red mushroom that changes into a flat shape. There are a lot of poisonous mushrooms that resemble it, so it's not safe to just pick and eat it without being sure of what it is. Apparently it's delicious, though. Its relative is the Amanita muscaria, so when that one shows itself, this one comes along as if to say, are we talking soulmates now? Pycnoparus. I'm sorry, I know there are probably people who know mushrooms more than I do that are just cringing at me pronouncing these words. I'm sorry. A red, flat, semicircular mushroom. It looks like a rusted polypicar. It was invited by the Why? Cupophilus virginius, which sprouted in response to Agnes's racing heart. I came along to rein in the other one, which never knows when to stop. Okay, that's funny. Why do items have to have such scientific names? I don't get it. Cantharella sibarius, a mushroom with an orange-yellow cap. It's eaten in Europe, but poisonous in Japan. What does that mean? Good question. Why is that? The flesh smells strongly of apricots. It's more shocked than anyone to find it's used in perfumes. Oh, God. Lipholilus conatum, white domehead. A white mushroom with a cap that looks like it's been dusted with white powder. It contains a poison that affects the gastrointestinal system and has no particular taste. It certainly looks very tasty. Tasty enough to tempt a brave person to try it. It sprouted in response to the cosmetics worn by the women surrounding Agnes. Not quite the right timing. Gomphis flucosus, a poisonous mushroom with a red trumpet-like cap. It causes gastrointestinal poisoning and is said to have no distinct taste. So someone must have tried eating this one too. It tried to play a trumpet note to cheer up Agnes, but despite its shape, it realized that mushrooms can't make music. What is with these stupid things? I don't get it! Chapter 9, The Mushroom Fetish Prince and the Mushroom Brooch. Oh God, what now? Is he getting her a brooch made of not made of mushrooms, shaped like a mushroom? Good morning, Agnes. Shall we go? When Agnes opened the door, she found a handsome young man standing there, the light shining on his Prussian blue hair. He was dazzling enough without the sunlight. He was wearing a simple long-sleeved shirt, a look she'd not seen him in before. Still, he couldn't hide his royal aura or natural good looks. It's still so hard to process the fact that he's a closeted mushroom fetishist. I don't know if you'd call him a fetishist. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anymore, guys. I assumed that he did like mushrooms to a point, but the fact that it's Agnes and she can make the mushrooms is just all rolled into one. But now I'm kind of, not sure anymore myself. Good morning, Claude. Did you pick up that light and movable dress for our outing today? Claude cast his eye over Agnes, looking pleased. Today she wore a simple, deep green dress that was belted at her waist. White, while pretty white lace adorned the neckline and the cuffs. It was certainly lighter and easier to move in than a ball gown. I know, I like that. I like that outfit, it sounds like. No, I don't have any fancy dresses anymore. This is just what I wear these days. Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to come today. After all, she'd only just attended the ball when he'd asked her to go out in the town with him the prior night. So she wasn't expecting to find the prince on her doorstep first thing the following morning. Well, he didn't specify what day, though he should have. She thought she was still dreaming at first. It is, is it? Claude said, taking her in her outfit again. Maurice mentioned you claimed to have disposed of all your fine dresses. I guess it was true after all. I didn't dispose of them, I sold them. Then whatever was left over, I cut up into skirts and sold those. I thought it was just an excuse you were giving me. You're seriously planning to become a commoner again? Yes, if she was not just saying it, she wouldn't have done all that. Claude's smile faltered, almost as if he was deeply disappointed with Agnes's behavior. This was before all this, so, yeah. Mushroom lover though he was really handsome. Agnes felt a tinge of guilt. Don't worry, I'll uphold the terms of our agreement. Anyway, where was it you wanted to go today? I want everyone to see us walking around town together. I have to get back this afternoon, though, so I don't have much time. If you're that busy, why don't we postpone this? No, I got a lot of official work to do. If I miss this chance today, I'll have to wait another 3 days. So? It's only 3 days. You act like it's a month. If you're that busy, then rest. Agnes wanted to say 3 days wouldn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, I agree. We could go somewhere a little further if we want, by carriage, Claude muttered. Not if we need to be back by this afternoon. Alright, then I'll just go and get ready. Please give me a few minutes. After clanging a small crossbody purse across her chest, Agnes hurried back to find Claude and Kevin standing in the entryway. Kevin? Is something wrong? I heard the prince was here, so I came to greet him. Your Highness? I know my sister is a handful, but I hope you'll be good to her. Kevin bowed, then grinned and flapped his hand at Agnes. Off you go, sis. What? Oh, okay. Bye. Agnes followed Claude outside, and they walked to the front gates together. There was no carriage awaiting them, not any guards or footmen. Claude, did you come in here all by yourself? Don't you have any guards with you? They were in the royal capital, yes, and Claude was a knight, but the second man in line to the throne couldn't just walk around unguarded. Well, yeah, but he is a knight. I'm assuming that he is a knight for a reason, and, well, yeah, I'm a knight, remember? I can handle most things by myself. Wait, you're really unguarded? In that case, let's cancel today. If anything were to happen... Agnes ground to a halt just a few feet away from the gate. Claude went a few more steps before he realized she'd stopped. But we're finally on a date, Agnes. I don't want to ruin this mood by bringing guards. Well, I mean, you're not really going to ruin the mood as long as they keep a safe distance between you and everybody else. They just keep an eye on things. I'd rather have the mood ruined by guards than by ruffians or bandits. And anyway, this is not a date, she stressed. Agnes, you hate stepping out with me that much? It's not about how I feel, it's about your safety, your royalty. So you should really take your well-being more seriously. If anything happens, you'll be sorry. Claude's shoulders slumped, then he threw up his hands. Alright, I'll come clean. Maurice will be following us at a distance with 2 other royal guards. Is that safe enough for you? Thank you! You could have just told her that from the start, then she wouldn't have been fretting about it. Agnes nodded, then another suspicion struck her. Why don't they just walk with us then? Because I want to be alone with you, not surrounded by burly men. Anyway, I don't want them getting too close. Really, God, man. I know he's obsessed with her, but jeez. Claude was sulking. In that moment, he looked more like a bratty neighborhood boy than a prince. It was sort of adorable. He doesn't want them getting too close to me. Oh, he's just looking after me after that young man accosted me at the last... He knows they're not going to do anything to you. And 2, that guy was not going to bother you. He was going to compliment you. Unlike Philip, Claude was capable of such consideration. I'm used to people saying mean things about my hair, Agnes said, so you don't need to worry about that. No, that's not what concerns me. Goodness, it's as bad as I was told. What? We don't have much time, let's go. Yeah, I'm guessing Kevin told him everything about how Philip would treat her. While he was waiting on her. Claude grabbed Agnes's hand and then began walking briskly. A mushroom popped up on Claude's arm. He promptly plucked it and pocketed it. It was a scarlet-capped Rusula aurea, or so Agnes thought, but who could tell for sure? Claude was too fast. The mushroom fetishist is at it again. He doesn't miss a beat. Slightly impressed, Agnes obediently walked alongside Claude for a while. By the time they reached the town square, Agnes had gotten used to him holding her hand, so there was no further mushrooms. Okay, so as long as she gets used to a guy, the mushrooms will stop coming after a while. So, what is it you wanted to see, Claude? She asked. Anything. I just want to walk through town with you, Agnes. You want to walk? Yes, we're on a date. I think she just stated that it's not a date. Well, to her. Oh, I see. This is part of your I'm head over heels act then. No, it's not an act. The mushroom fetish prince was going all out for their ruse again today, it seemed. Although she doubted they encountered that many aristocrats walking through town together. But Agnes's peach blossom hair stood out like a sore thumb. I swear, I am assuming that anybody who has read the story has also said that her hair is not ugly. It's pretty, it's unique, it's cute. Unique is not always bad. With all the merchants and servants around, no doubt the gossip would soon spread far and wide. Spreading the rumor amongst the poor as well as the rich would ensure maximum permeation. Every woman in the kingdom would know that Prince Claude was unavailable. Hello, Lady Lefort, with a male companion today. Is that your boyfriend? Technically, yes. When Agnes stopped to buy a fruit skewer, the friendly shopkeeper turned an interested eye on Claude. Even dressed down like he was, there was no hiding Claude's royal facial features. He stood out like a sore thumb, just like you. You're perfect for each other. No, this is a business transaction, exchanging goods for sale. Agnes had to be careful what she said. Claude's reputation was on the line. She couldn't let their arrangement slip. Business. The shopkeeper frowned as he prepared 2 strawberry skewers. Agnes just smiled and shrugged. She couldn't explain that she was supplying Claude with mushrooms. All you had to say is that the 2 of you are dating. That's what he wants. Because you guys want to get that out, don't you? Surely that will go among the gossip among the merchants. Well, anyway, good for you. You were always far too good for that silly royal brat you were engaged to. Here, have an extra strawberry. Ooh, thank you very much. Philip certainly was a silly brat. So much so, in fact, that even the common folk knew of his idiocy. Thank you, at least not everybody is stupid. Agnes didn't really know what the merchants had meant by good for you, but if it meant free strawberries, she wouldn't question it. Agnes paid, then handed one of the skewers to Claude. Thank you, I feel terrible having you pay, though. It barely cost anything. It wouldn't even pay for a single bead on that fine dress you gave me. At least let me buy you a fruit skewer as thanks. Claude had brought gold coins with him, of course, but those are worth too much to be used by anything in this part of town. Using even one would require too much change back, which would inconvenience the shopkeeper and draw too much attention. Really, he should have prepared some copper coins for this outing, Agnes thought. Would he have even been able to get copper coins? I'm assuming they would have someone in the palace that would be able to exchange that sort of thing and have... The treasury! The freaking treasury would have been good for that. Is this the first time you've ever been shopping in this part of town? She asked. No, I've bought from street merchants during military operations before. No doubt Maurice or another of Claude's subordinates did the actual paying. Still, it made sense. Who'd picture the king's son standing in line at a shop, clicking a pocket full of copper coins? You seem very used to all this, though, Agnes. Well, I'm commoner born, and I go shopping in town all the time. And you're friendly with all the shopkeepers? Yes, I am. We've never exchanged names, but they all remember me on account of this hair of mine. See what a liability... It's not a liability. Claude needs to convince her it's not. Holding up a lock of her hair, Agnes sighed and grimaced. Let's sit down on that bench soon over there to eat, she suggested to change the topic. Once they sat down, Agnes bit into the first strawberry at the top of the skewer. An aristocrat's daughter would never do something like that in public, but Agnes knew the best way to eat a fruit skewer was just to stick it in her mouth. Eating it that way made it taste even more delicious. How are you going to do when you get down to the bottom? Because surely you can't go in all the way. Ugh. Anyway, if Claude was repulsed by such unladylike behavior, then maybe he'd be willing to let her out of her obligation all the sooner. But no, Claude seemed quite unconcerned as he bit into his own strawberry. Maybe Claude was familiar with the custom from his time as a knight? Either way, he seemed to think nothing of Agnes chewing down on the fruit skewer. Agnes felt relieved. No, wait, disappointed. No, she wasn't sure what she felt, really. Having finished her first strawberry, Agnes looked up. Claude had red strawberry juice. Oh, God. Here we go. Glistening on his lower lip. The strawberries were extra juicy, so there was no surprise. But it was definitely odd seeing a prince with a strawberry mouth. You've got strawberry juice dripping down your chin. Agnes whipped out her handkerchief and reached out to... doesn't he have one? To dab the red juice off of Claude's chin. Meanwhile, Claude stiffened, mouth slightly open. Oh, is he not used to that? Or is he not used to her doing that? Agnes frowned at him. What? What's wrong? Then she realized, oh God, what she was doing. Oh, sorry, it's just that this is what I do for my little brother. Boy. Kevin often mashed food around his mouth, and Agnes thought nothing of wiping it off for him. It was just a reflex. How old is her brother, by the way? Is he like 16 or something? Shouldn't that be something you don't need to do anymore? What am I thinking? Muscle memory is a scary thing. Agnes cringed, staring at Claude and steeling herself for the scolding that was sure to come. But I don't think he'd care. I think he might like that. Oh God, you might have made it worse. Claude stayed silent, touching his lower lip. Oh dear, his face. Oh, he's blushing. God, this is getting silly. He must be furious at me. It's fine. You wiped her brother's face off, then, Agnes? Yeah, like I said, I think he's 16, so I think you might not need to do that anymore. Claude lifted his head to look at her. Yes, his cheeks were very red, but he didn't look angry. Agnes could relax for now, at least. Oh, okay, but he was little. Okay. Yes, almost every day when he was little. Even now sometimes, but more recently it's been... Oh, God, here we go. Been Philip, Philip. Boy, this is when they were together, so shouldn't be mad about that. Claude's voice was low and gravelly. Agnes wondered if she said too much again. Probably did. But it was too late now. It was true, though. Her saying that makes me think of her being his mother. And that's bad. Philip always had food on his chin that Agnes would wipe off. She didn't want to think about that foolish boy now, but she couldn't deny that they'd spent many years together. After that long of a relationship, things just stuck with you. Yeah, definitely. Don't worry about it. Claude took Agnes's handkerchief from her and smiled. Agnes looked at him in confusion for a second. This is weird. Before he pressed it to her lips. You've got some on you as well. Now he's doing it to you. This is silly. I still think whenever someone does that, it makes me think of there being like a mother figure, and that's kind of weird. Agnes felt her cheeks burn in embarrassment as Claude leaned into her personal space. Here we go. Just then, several mushrooms sprouted on Claude's arm. Girl, how do you think you met him, Phil? And I think they're the mushrooms. I see them. Right there. Sorry. Agnes snatched her handkerchief from Claude and clutched it. He merely chuckled in response. The white mushroom jiggled jollily as Claude laughed. Hygrophoracea. I don't know how to fucking pronounce these words. Beside that one, there was another with an ochre-colored globular head. What's ochre? Can somebody tell me? On top of the head, there was a deep red star-shaped clump. It looked like Calostolum japonica, and the bright red hue reminded Agnes of, oh god, of lips. Not that I want to think about lips right now. I think it's reacting to the situation and your emotions is what it is. And probably what you're thinking of. She couldn't stand the sight of Claude delightedly fondling the mushrooms either, so she stood up in a hurry. She wanted to get away. Anywhere would do. So she headed to a nearby shop, realizing, oh god, it was a jeweler. Oh. It had to be a jeweler. It had to be. Couldn't be a clothing shop or another food stand or something. A jeweler for commoners, though, and none of the pieces on display were that expensive. Even the ones with real gemstones were somewhat affordable. Still, Agnes had no need for jewelry, but when she was returning to her humble roots. She was about to head on to the next shop, but Claude, who, of course, followed her, remained standing there looking at the window display. What's up? Agnes looked back into the window, trying to see what Claude was so focused on. Without thinking, she gasped. There it was, nestled among the rings and hair combs. Is that a mushroom? Really? They make brooches in the shape of mushrooms. Why? Claude was gazing at a navy blue mushroom brooch. Its navy blue umbrella cap was studded with little gemstones. They were like little polka dots. So adorable, Agnes thought. The mushroom shape was cartoonish and cute, too. Of course he would focus on the one mushroom-themed thing in that thing. Still, it was weird for a handsome young prince to be standing there with his nose pressed up to the glass, gazing raptly at a brooch. A shopkeeper seemed to be having the same thought. He inched warily toward Claude, but then seemed to relax when he spotted Agnes next to him. Hello, young sir. Want a present for your lady friend? You two look like you're quite the pair of sweethearts. That's a great piece, especially the cap's fine lines and the detail on the little frills of the gills. You can see it that well? Unless it's if it's far away, he's got good eyesight. Claude was clearly appraising the brooch and its resemblance to real mushrooms instead of on its merit as a jewelry piece. The shopkeeper turned his baffled gaze to Agnes, looking for help. So Claude's mushroom fetish is freaking out the local merchants now, she sighed internally. Claude, do you like that brooch? What do you think, Agnes? I mean, I think the little polka dots are cute. The shopkeeper was the first to react to her appraisal. What do you say, young lady? We've another of the same brooch in pink. Adorable, isn't it? The shopkeeper whipped out the identical brooch he'd been describing. Is he going to get both of them? One for him and one for her? Wait, do men wear brooches? I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, that's really pretty, Agnes spoke without thinking. It was too late to take it back. He's going to get it! Agnes's eyes flashed with excitement. Or Claude's eyes flashed with excitement. Shopkeeper will take it. I knew it! He's going to get both of them. And this navy blue one as well. You've got a fine eye, young sir. That brooch is the finest thing we stock. And these little fleck pieces are all real gemstones. Agnes quickly checked the price. It was quite pricey for commoner jewelry. You're going to wear them, Claude? If the refined, dignified fourth prince was seen walking around with a couple of gaudy mushroom brooches like these on his lapel, it'd be really weird. I knew it. I knew this. I knew this was coming. Don't be silly. One of them is for you, Agnes. A present. So that means you're gonna wear the other one? Thought Agnes, shaking her head in panic. Oh, I don't need one. And besides, it's pretty pricey. Then why did you buy it? Wait, what am I saying? He's buying it because he can. Agnes didn't want Claude spending any more money on her, but the shopkeeper interjected just then. Alright, tell you what. I'll give you a discount because you are such a pretty young lady. See? You can be pretty even with that hair of yours. And even still, the hair is pretty. The shopkeeper scribbled a new number down. Agnes looked and thought, wow, that is a hefty discount. Then we'll take the pair. Claude, not missing a beat, quickly paid. While they were standing there, a curious crowd had formed behind them. Oh, boy. As Claude handed over his money, they all gasped appreciatively, as if entertained. Some of them even clapped as Agnes and Claude walked off. Do people really not have anything better to do than to watch that sort of thing happen? I guess there's nothing happening in that town. What was all that about? Agnes had to speak up. She hated to walk back home in awkward silence. She had no idea where that crowd of people had come from, but she was terribly embarrassed. With a spectacle like that, the members of the aristocracy would hear of it before long. Everyone would instantly know it was them. Agnes's peach blossom hair would identify her right away, and Claude had made barely any effort to dress down. He hadn't even used a code name. Everyone would know that the fourth prince had been jewelry shopping in town. It was all another ruse, a ploy. Part of Claude's I'm head over heels for her ploy. He said he didn't have much time. Well, he certainly squeezed enough time to spread rumors about us on a date together. The crowd gathered because of your beauty, Agnes. Huh? Agnes covered her mouth. They kept forgetting to speak in a ladylike manner. Oops. What is this mushroom freak going on about? I think it was your face that drew the crowd, actually, she burst out. My face? How'd it do that? Hell, come on! Who wouldn't notice a man with a face as handsome and regal as yours? Girl, you're gonna get him going. Are you not thinking about what you're saying? You just gave him a nice compliment, and considering how obsessed this guy is of you, it's gonna get worse. Agnes was just telling the truth, but Claude seemed to be loving it. Oh, really? You think my face is handsome? Hey, Agnes, I didn't say you tricked me into saying that. No, he didn't. Agnes's cheeks burned with shame and indignation. He played me like a fiddle. A small mushroom popped up on the back of Claude. Why is it always the gloves? That's what I've noticed. It's mostly popping off. It looked like Antoloma virescens, but Agnes didn't have time for that right now. It's so nice to get a compliment from someone you've fallen head over heels for. But, I mean, it's you who... It's simply a fact that Claude was a handsome young man. What was so remarkable about her saying it? And why was she this embarrassed? It's remarkable about her saying it because he's in love with you. And getting a compliment from someone you're in love with is a whole heck of a lot better than a compliment from a stranger. In response to her flustered feelings, another mushroom popped up on the back of Claude's left glove. An indigo blue one this time. It looked like Entoloma cyanonigrum. What is with all the blue mushrooms today? Maybe Claude's brooch had sparked something in her? I mean, what's the point of pretending to be head over heels for me as no one's around to see? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of your plan? Girl, he only told you that plan just to get you to agree. He wants to be with you. He's going to try and get you to fall in love with him before that agreement ends. So that way when it does, you don't want to be out without him. Defeat the purpose of my plan, eh? I guess it does on one front, but my real plan is best acted upon in private, I'd say. What? I knew it. Agnes didn't understand what he was talking about, but they arrived back at the Lefort estate before she could question him further. Here, Agnes, for you. Claude placed the pink mushroom brooch in her palm. I wanted that one, actually. A mushroom the same pink as your hair. You'd look weird walking around wearing a pink mushroom. Honestly, Agnes found his mushroom obsession slightly squirm-inducing. Still, she'd made an agreement with him, and providing him mushrooms was part of it. You're right, then I'll just have to be satisfied with this one. I'm not sure if that's much better. Claude pinned the blue mushroom to his lapel. With that, an Entoloma virescens on his right hand, and an Entoloma cyanonigrum on his left, he was all decked out. You're fine with the pink? Agnes looked at Claude confused. He was gazing at her as if worried. She could tell what he wanted to say and smiled dryly. Despite what my hair's put me through, I actually don't hate the color pink. And you know there are some people who compliment my peach blossom hair. Like my father and mother, Uncle Benoit, and Kevin. Actually, even Claude said some nice things about my hair. Didn't he say it was beautiful once? Yes! Girl, your hair is nice. Don't ignore what Philip said. Since she became a count's daughter, not one nobleman had ever complimented her hair. Until Claude, that is. Even Philip, her fiancé, had never had a kind word to say about it. That should tell you something about him, girl. Still, Philip was trash. He dumped her for his dragon mate, after all. Oh, I wonder how that's going, by the way. I see. Then I'm glad. Claude smiled with relief. Agnes looked at him closely. Aren't you going to harvest those mushrooms? They must be getting in your way. Agnes gestured toward the blue mushroom bobbing about on the back of Claude's hands, but he merely smiled in a soft manner. Entoloma virescens is a delicate shroom. Once harvested, it dries out and turns yellow. I'll carry it home on my glove. Anyway, don't I look dapper with an Entoloma virescens on my right hand and an Entoloma cyanonigrum on my left? If you say so. He really was an extreme mushroom freak. But she was impressed. Through years of living with her mushroom curse, Agnes had learned to identify them and even know their scholarly names. Yeah, I can't pronounce them worth crap. But she was surprised to find that he knew them and their characteristics too. She was impressed, yes, but also a bit grossed out. Still, it's good for a fetishist to be informed, isn't it? Now that I think about it, you're not going to search for your own dragon mate, Claude? Philip didn't possess dragon blood, so his little girlfriend wasn't really his true dragon mate anyway. But Claude was second in line to the throne, so his dragon blood status was irrefutable. How do you know that? Can't this whole dragon blood thing been, I guess, weeded out throughout the generations? I don't know. Agnes had figured that he must have his own dragon mate waiting somewhere out there for him. That's why she asked, but her question made Claude's smile cloud over, and his eyes went, flinty and hard. It's not something you search for. It isn't? Sorry, I didn't know. True, Philip didn't seek out Sabina personally. He just found someone who offered him a better future than Agnes. It's a convenient phrase, though, isn't it, Claude? What is? Dragon mate. Once that gets around, there's no getting out of it anymore. It's the best excuse out there. If there was something wrong with her, then she could live with that. But if it wasn't the fault of either party, if it was something undeniable, you can just discard anyone you were already involved with by saying they're a fake. Well, I guess to the person they found the dragon mate, the prior relationship really was nothing more than a fake placeholder. Agnes would have had an easier time accepting the situation if Philip had apologized to her for falling for someone else, or just came out straight out and told her he hated her guts and never wanted to be with her in the first place. But to be told she was a fake? It was as if her very existence was denied. Whatever trust was cultivated between them was brushed under the rug, and she wasn't even allowed to fault him for it. I see. Claude was still frowning. Agnes realized that she'd been running her mouth and quickly bowed in regret. I'm so sorry, this is my problem. I shouldn't be ranting to you about it, and after you saved me from that ugly scene with Philip, too. It's all just Philip and his cruel words messing with your head. Girl, you need to understand that your hair is beautiful. How rude it was of her to rant about her failed relationship to a prince. Anyway, unlike Philip, Claude really did have dragon. How do you know that? Didn't really have dragon's blood. He really did have a genuine dragon mate. It wasn't just an excuse he could use. Probably. I think he's already found his dragon mate. You. Everyone said that once a true dragon's blood met their dragon mate, they'd be unable to love any other. You couldn't blame them or call them a traitor. The power of dragon mates was too strong and transcended such petty things. Agnes had gotten too familiar with Claude and forgotten her place. They had to act close per the terms of their agreement, but she had to remember this was a prince she was dealing with. Commoner-born Agnes was, from an entirely different world. She really needed to be more careful. No, it's fine, don't worry about it. Well, if you do find your dragon mate, Claude, please let me know. I don't want to get wrapped up in any more love triangles. I actually kind of hate the phrase dragon mate now. I guess I'm traumatized. So anyway, just let me know and we can dissolve our contract on the spot. And I'll disappear from your life entirely. I won't make any trouble, don't worry. Agnes only wanted to let Claude know that she wouldn't interfere, but his response was lackluster. Claude? Peering at his face in concern, Agnes blinked as Claude grabbed her hand and suddenly kissed the back of it. I do think that she is his dragon mate. I don't know if he would... I don't even know what he said there was supposed to be a sign when you find your dragon mate, but... what was the sign for her? Was it the mushrooms? As mushrooms sprouted up along the length of his arm, Claude's eye... oh, God. Alright, guys, this is so weird. This is so weird. Claude's eyes narrowed in pleasure. The little white caps were Cufophilus virginius, and the little bright red ones were Maracinus pulcharips? There seems to be a lot of... yeah, isn't that the one that pops up during romance stuff? A lot of those sprouting lately, that's odd. Can I come to see you again? Huh? Oh, sure. It looked like the contract in Claude's I'm head over heels ploy would be continuing. As Agnes nodded in agreement, Claude smiled at her, but there was something sad about it. Maybe he's sad that she doesn't really believe in this whole dragon mate thing and that they're dragon mates? I don't know. Oh, here we go, the mushroom of the day thing. Rusula aurea, a mushroom with a scarlet cap. It has a pleasant but indistinct taste. It gets easily infested with insects, so it's not really suitable for eating. Poor mushroom. It's desperate to be eaten before the bugs get to it. It's processed to say, come on, let's get going. Cuphophilis virginius, a small milk white mushroom. It loves anything to do with... Yeah, this is the one, yeah. With romance. It sensed a kiss and got excited, bringing a new companion along with it. Colostoma japonica. The cap part is a yellowish sphere with a red star-shaped growth on top. It looks like takoyaki, but with a hole in the top stuffed with red Betty Shoga pickled ginger. The Japanese name includes the word lipstick, and it does look like lipstick. She did mention one that looked like lips. It was hurried along by the other one, which was screaming, a kiss, a kiss. This little stuff right here is cute. I just don't like having to pronounce the technical names for them. Antiloma virescens, a mushroom with little sky blue caps. It's unknown if it's poisonous. When damaged, it turns yellow, a fragile mushroom. Claude purchased a blue mushroom brooch, and this one likes to think it was the inspiration for that. It's relieved to see how careful Claude is when handling mushrooms. It doesn't want to turn yellow. Antiloma cyanong... I cannot speak these. A deep blue mushroom. It doesn't seem to be poisonous, but it doesn't look very edible because of the color. It thinks that it was the inspiration for Claude's blue brooch, not the Antiloma virescens that turns yellow so easily. Being called dapper by Claude made it happy beyond words. Merismias pokeripes, I don't know. A small mushroom with a light red cap. The other mushroom invited it along because it's sort of a pinkish color. No polka dots, though. Okay, here we go. Wait, what time is... How long have I done this? I'm almost halfway done with this thing? Dang! Okay, I think I'm going to end this part off here. I will see you guys in the next one.